You know, we'd gone through losing Davey Allison, and we lost Allen, Rob Moroso, a lot of really good young drivers. You never expected Big E to be one of those guys.
We had our ups and downs, but at the end of the day, there wasn't nobody from Joe Gibbs going to come over there and whoop our ass. We'd take them all out.
The days following the Daytona 2001, that had to be just surreal. I showed up in 2000. I came 2 years after, so I remember covering it. I remember watching and being outside, you know, for NASCAR.com and CNN. That you guys went out and you raised the victory flag, but then you raised it halfway, and just the people there and everything. But inside, you know, beyond the gates, what was it like back there for all you guys?
Well, two things. You know, we'd gone through losing Davey Allison, and we lost Allen, Rob Moroso, a lot of really good young drivers. You never expected Big E to be one of those guys. Just caught everybody off guard, especially Daytona, you know. But to walk in that shop the next day, it was like you were in a daze.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was
I'm
very
sure
surreal.
It was, you're trying to console each other and keep your own act together, and
Right.
not cry. And you're all tough guys, but man, that broke your heart.
Yep.
Remember I told these guys in the other interview that I did that when we drove in the gate in the morning, there was a little black glove that came out that guard check window. We're like, that was like so impressionable to me to think, wow, this woman's got guts to be sitting.
Yeah.
And she was there that morning.
Yeah.
And it was like a little clue that I'm still here and
Yep,
we're going to keep this
we're
thing
still in
rolling.
business. Yep.
Yeah.
But then you guys had a
Because Dale would sit in that guard check almost every morning that he was in town and wave to us as we came
Really?
in.
And let you know if you were late.
Yeah.
Or
Of
if you
course.
drove the wrong car,
You
if
got
your car
this?
leaked
Yeah.
oil.
car leaked oil.
If you rode a motorcycle
Yeah,
in there, you
or
got it. You're
you're
full
driving
of
a
that.
Ford,
Don't you ride a
you
Harley
know.
in there.
That guy's got a Ford.
But you guys had to get ready to go to the next race because the sport didn't stop.
Right.
And there was never, we're going to do this. We're going to keep going.
You know, and I don't know how the stars lined up when we had the wins with all the cars like right in a row. And you know, I was hoping that when Dale Jr. we missed the Vegas thing on the gas deal. That just
How'd that happen, Jeff?
me and the gas guys miscommunicated on a second cam.
I remember
And,
how-
I own that.
I remember
Kevin
how-
Eagle took the hit for it, but it wasn't Kevin, man. That was me saying the second cam, and that broke his heart. Now the good thing was, I think Harvick won, or who won that race? Somebody-
Harvick won Atlanta.
Atlanta, and then Park Rockingham.
Yep.
And then I think the reason we didn't win was the wind shaping up for Daytona in July. So there's always a reason things happen. You don't know it at the time. But that win at Daytona, that was the best shot in the arm for all of us.
Yeah.
It was
And-
good
and
medicine.
Everybody, and within Highway 3, the sport, fans, everyone who followed it, it was like, whew, because you're going back, you know. And I remember Dale Jr. talked about it. He goes, you know, the first time by, the spot, second, third, fourth, then it's like, okay, we're racing here. And he talked
Well, even
about
when he took his buddies down there, and they went to the track the day before the track opened, and went on the track in a Suburban, and went right to the spot. I mean, give Dale Jr. credit. That's guts, man.
Yeah.
That takes a big
Does.
person to do that.
Yeah.
And then to soldier through the weekend like that, especially with everything that was going on around that.
Media.
It was like, how do you focus on going to win a
Right.
race? And then, you know, with everything, and, you know.
But we all leaned on each other. There were good days, bad days. I remember our Budweiser shop. We'd go there after hours, and refrigerator was always full of good beverage.
Sure, yeah.
And then it was time for us to talk and reflect. And the best part were some of the stories Tony Sr., Tony Jr. would tell, and days when they were running around with Dale Sr. at the Busch car.
Right.
And back in the day when NASCAR was not what it was, it grew into. And
Yeah.
and hearing good stories. And Randy carried a lot. Randy Earnhardt was a big strength for all of us. And Teresa, I know she caught a lot of heat on the way things went, but she was strong. She kept that place
Kept
going
it
as long
going.
as she could within her capabilities and the people she trusted to run it.
Right.
It's like you said, when you hire somebody to run a company, things change. Sometimes you're not there on top of it, and you got to, good and bad of it. So
Well, I was there when they hired the one, and I remember I worked closely with that, and I was like, this ain't going to work. You just tell her this ain't going to work. And
That's when I left.
I think we all could tell. But
Well,
we're loyal.
I saw that when they hired those two clowns.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, but
Yeah,
we were
there
loyal.
was- yeah,
I think we're all still loyal to Dale.
Yeah.
Obviously, Dale Jr. was still there at the time before he exited for Hendrick. And those loyalties kept us there, and we worked as hard as we could, and we still won races.
Sure.
I think winning fixes a lot of problems.
I mean, we were leading the points there.
Oh.
The 8 car was there at Michigan. Before the fall brawl,
Yeah.
the fall, whatever you
Yes.
want to call it.
Talladega when he said
When he-
victory lane.
yeah, when he-
crossed
That was,
25.
that was Bristol.
No, it was
No.
he won.
What
He
he did-
said
A couple of
victory
The
lane.
quote was, "Hey, you won here because ain't nothing. My daddy won here 10
Didn't you
times."
guys?
that was the other.
Didn't you
And
guys
they
spun
didn't you
out
have
of
like
Bristol.
6 wins or something? It was
Yeah.
something pretty big.
Yeah, it was good. 2004. Favorite memories? Go ahead. Let's give a quick.
You know, I guess my favorite memory of that was being a part of the engineering department in the RAD program. We did the scale model cars. I liked everything right up until the point where they brought that COT thing in, because it removed guys like Brian and Warren and Tim. It removed a piece from the chain of talent.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, we all fought a little bit and argued, and everybody, and it wasn't that we didn't like each other. It's just we all wanted to do so well, and that's not a bad thing.
No, it's
That's not a bad thing.
champion.
And that's what took us where we went. And I think my best memories is just being a part of that engineering department and the RAD program and the Aero program and working with these guys. I mean, we had our ups and downs, but at the end of the day, there wasn't nobody from Joe Gibbs going to come over and whoop our ass. We'd take them all out. you know, and that's the way I feel about it.
Exactly.
I think, well, there was a lot of good memories. What was really cool is as I moved on and went to Hendrick Motorsports with Dale Jr., you hear of how great their engineering staff was, and to look back at what we had, we were so, I mean, we were the best, but we were so close to being untouchable.
Right.
Because if we would have ever got everybody to
We're
communicate-
untouchable.
to get everybody, I mean, but you saw that the Hendrick Motorsports teams were really running well and coming along, and they heard about that we had this phenomenal super speedway program, which was just a bunch of flunkies that were able to build. You know, and there was no.
There was
They
no
felt
engineering.
well, they felt there was this direct super speedway program that it was people that's all that they worked on.
Right.
And that just wasn't the case.
Yeah.
And they were gearing up to do that to try and catch us. And their engineering department was so far behind what we had. I mean, we had our metrology lab all set up, and when the COT car came out, it was such a nightmare. And metrology was on top of that. When that car rolled out of there, we knew if it went to NASCAR if it was going to pass or fail.
Right.
I mean, we were set up like unbelievably
ahead of
better.
time.
And Hendricks just was not there.
No.
Not there. And they picked up so much once we got there, learning where we were, what we had, and where we were at. You know.
I think
Warren,
we had so much that we didn't realize what we had.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That we had so much talent in those gates.
Exactly.
So much talent.
You find that out when you get somewhere else.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? You
Yes.
see it when you get somewhere else. You go,
Wow.
wow.
But it was just everyday life when you're living it.
Right. And
Right.
how many people who did leave there and I don't know, very few of them didn't succeed.
No.
There's very few of them that aren't a champion. You know that, and it's kind of odd that group was together, how it got put together, all of us, how we ended up there. You know, my first day I get hired, and they're having a lunch for Dale Jr. because he won Pikes Peak or something. It was before we had the kitchen, and it
Trophy
was
room, yeah.
it was Porta Pit, and and I knew nobody there. My first day, I sit down next to Paul Andrews. Dale sits right across the table from me, and I'm having my lunch, and everything's going on, and Dale goes to Paul. He goes, he didn't ask me.
Who the hell's this?
He said, "Who's that guy?" And I was gonna say, and Paul kind of stopped me. He says, "This is Warren. He's a new body hanger I got over here from Penske." And he looks at me and he goes, "Where are you from, boy?" And I said, "Wisconsin." And he says, "I guess we all got to be from somewhere." That was it.
That's it.
I mean,
So, what are your favorite memories?
that one was that's
Okay,
one of my
yeah.
favorites. I guess, I mean, there's so many good memories there. Best and worst. I win the very first 500. I'm going over to Walpit in a car at, and unfortunately Dale had to die. But that's You know, I have all good memories when it was DEI.
Right.
I have all bad when it turned into
Whatever.
the Ginn and the Ganassi and all of that. And that when it was DEI, everything was good.
Tim, what about you?
Well, my favorite memories was Dale. He come through the fab shop one day, and we're sitting in the break room with the lights off because the windows from the fab shop there would bring light in.
Yeah.
And he walks in and he says, "What the hell, you think I can't afford the electric bill?" And he turns the lights on. We're like, "No, Dale, turn them off. It's a lot cooler in here with them off. We like them off." And he walks out, shakes his head.
Yeah.
Every time he'd come by with somebody and we would sit in that break room with the lights off, he'd reach his arm in the door and flip the lights on. And just keep on trucking.
Jeff?
Yeah. Man, there's a lot of great memories. One, the friendships, that's
Yep.
the best thing. The wins, I mean, we're all there to win, right? And, you know, with the whole Dale Jr. experience, the guy that was literally, you know, the biggest rock star in the sport, we haven't seen one since.
No.
And he was really having fun with us. And he lived it with us, you know, from the racetrack to the parties at the house, the cookouts. Those are all great memories. I think personally we've all had good experiences with Dale, things that he would do to you or for you. And I don't think there's anybody ever worked for me he didn't do one good thing for him. Me, I came in, was coming through some tough financial times, going through a divorce, and I was driving this old beat up little micro pickup, had 2 baby seats in it. And I came through the gate like we talked about, he's always there on days. Before I got parked in my spot, man, there's this skid behind me. Get out of that damn truck. I'm like, oh my God, what'd I do? He said, get out of that damn truck. He said, you mean to tell me your kids' baby seats, you drive them in this piece of crap? Get in the truck. And I'm like, oh crap, I'm getting fired, what's going on? He just starts driving, he's silent, and I'm like, oh, this ain't good.
And you know not to talk.
I didn't
talk
say a
first.
word. We're driving to the country. I'm like, where is he taking me? Take me out in the woods and shoot me? What's he gonna
He's going to need a big gun for you, but yeah, go ahead.
do? Pulls up a Dale Earnhardt Chevrolet.
Yeah.
The truck we're in was his factory truck. He said, today's your lucky day. I'm turning in this truck. I'm getting my new one. This is your truck. Go in the office, see Larry, get his papers.
Really?
I'm like, wow, I'm getting a factory truck. And it was his 98 Z71 extended cab pickup, black, beautiful. So I go in the front office. I'm supposed to see you. He said, yeah, Dale had somebody call. This is your truck, sign these papers. And he goes, oh, here's the payment book too. And I said, what? He goes, yeah, you just bought a truck. I'm like, what? I can't afford a truck. That's why I'm driving
That's
this
why I'm
old
driving that
Friday.
thing, yeah.
He said, don't worry, he's going to fix your paycheck Friday so you can afford it. And so then we got back to the shop, and he said, you understand what I'm talking about? He said, nothing more important than your family.
Yeah,
So you take
good.
care of your kids. And that was one thing he did for me, and I know of hundreds of things he did for every one of us over the
Absolutely.
years where he helped somebody out or made a difference in your life. It made you think about.
Just to be able to say you worked at Dale Earnhardt
True.
Incorporated.
To this day.
I mean, to me, I come from Podunk, Pennsylvania, 8th grade education, and you end up at Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. I mean, personally, that's pretty satisfying.
We all
Yeah.
made it.
And it was
It was
just
a
a moment in
dynasty.
time, though, right?
Yeah.
The whole place.
And you felt it was family.
I still have that truck, by the way. Still
Do
have
ya?
that truck. Never sold it.
So my memories were the 500s because I've always been on the first team I ever worked with was you guys. There were all of us there. So being in Victory Lane, just the 500s, and that was great. Winning the championships with Truex, doing his PR, that was great. And I remember when Dale Jr. won in the Wrangler car at Daytona. I don't know what it was, and I'm going to get emotional here. He's coming in Victory Lane, and for some reason, all DEI guys just happened to be there, and we were all hugging and
Yeah.
sorry.
No, that's the good part of it right there. Your heart.
Like everyone just showed up, like out of nowhere, and they were all high-fiving. It was just cool.
That was really special. That was a very,
that was. Sorry.
because that was, we had the Oreo car, but that Wrangler car, to see that yellow and blue car,
one time I did that one time.
that was really special.
Yeah.
So question: if we could do it all again and keep it going, would we?
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No question.
But with Dale Jr.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
If we could, if it happened, if someone said, "Hey, here's what we're doing,"
I mean, I stayed obviously after these guys left. Brian was part of. He was able to go to Hendrick with Dale Jr. I don't know, maybe half of you guys got to go.
Oh, it was me and Tom and Timmy Petchek ended up going there.
Okay.
Tony Barclay and Tony Jr.
Yeah.
5 of us.
You gotta love
And
Timmy Petchek.
what's our engineer?
He's the man.
Yeah.
AJ.
AJ.
Murray.
Yeah.
H.A.'s a good
Yeah.
man.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
That was H.A. was one of the defining moments of DEI.
Yeah, he was a super intelligent guy.
Yeah.
And common sense.
Unbelievable.
Brilliant and common
The-
sense.
Wow, just
When-
a good guy.
When Tony Jr. got let go from when they moved him to the R&D department at Hendricks, H.A. could not pull himself together. That tore that poor man up.
Because the closeness, the bond. that you
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
Yeah, you relied on each other.
And they understood each other. That was pretty good.
You know, I got another good story I got to tell. So
Here we go.
when you were talking about the new buildings going up. So remember when we moved into the 8 shop?
Yes.
When the new 8 shop went in.
Yes.
They told us you are not cutting cars apart in this brand new shop, right?
Yes.
So the first day we cut sides off the car. Well, he come in, he chewed everybody's ass for that. That night we were trying to get the trailer loaded. We just got our new trailer, the Bud trailer. We're getting everything loaded. I was building a wiring harness to put in the trailer, just to plug in for the battery. And we didn't have any material in there, no heat shrink sleeve or nothing. So I ran over to the one shop, and that morning he gave us this whole big meeting. Where you remember we're standing in the building across the way
Yeah.
where his motor coach was, and he told everybody in there, we're going to follow procedures. This is a new thing, new buildings where everybody's following procedures. We're going to department heads. So, I mean, it's 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. I go over to the one shop, and I'm rifling through the drawers looking for some heat shrink sleeve, and I hear this voice behind me. What are you doing in here? I said, I'm looking for some heat shrink sleeve. Did you go through the proper procedures? I'm like, Biggie, it's 8 o'clock at night. I just got to go. He goes, where's Dave Anthony? Dave Anthony! He's yelling, Dave! And I said, he's gone home, I think. And he goes, well, we got to follow procedures here. And I pulled a $20 bill out of my pocket, and I said, if I need to pay for the heat shrink sleeve, I will. He's like, you son of a bitch, I'll fire your ass right here.
Fire you.
Damn smart ass. And I'm like, Biggie, I just want to get this thing done. So I just walked out of the shop and went next door.
With
And
the
I
heat
still-
shield?
No.
Oh, okay,
no.
okay.
So I'm over there just finishing up the harness, and I see him out of the corner of my eye come in, and he's over chewing at Tony Sr.'s ass. That goddamn kid, he can't do that. And so Tony Sr. says, why don't you just get off of him? He's trying to get work done for you. He's not doing it for himself. He's working for you. So he comes over and he goes, did you find a heat shrink sleeve? I said, no. He goes, let's go across the way. So we go over there, and the old AC Delco hauler's in there. And we're going through the drawers, and he says, is there any there? I'm like, no. And he goes, hey, there's some Kit Kat bars in here. You want one?
I mean, nice.
So that was like his apology.
A Kit Kat bar?
Yeah.
Sorry, have a candy bar.
The night we'd wrecked somewhere, came home, we went in to work on the car that night and set the alarms off, and we just stuck rag, and you couldn't turn them off.
Oh, I know. I did that one
And
time.
finally, 3 hours later, after we rag stuff in it, he comes, what the hell's going on in here? You're not supposed to be here. It's Sunday night. And we're like, we got to get this car ready. Go it in the heavy fab tomorrow. We're stripping it down. He's like, Jesus Christ. You just slammed the door and
Yeah.
left.
I got caught in there one time. We were just launching the website, and I had no concept what time was, and I'm like, oh my God, it's like 9:30. So I go to leave, and I'm like, I don't know the codes. I don't know. And all of a sudden, the alarms go off, and this and that. And all of a sudden, I'm like, ugh. So my wife at the time was coming to pick me up because my car was getting worked on. She goes, you okay? There's sheriffs out here. I go, what? She goes, there's sheriff's cars out here. I go, oh, no. All of a sudden, I got to the one hauler bay there, by Randy's shop, and all of a sudden, Randy comes in like that, and here comes 3 sheriffs. No, he sends the sheriffs in first. They go, what are you doing in here? I go, I work here. I go, why are you in here? I go, I work here. I got trapped in there. And they're being all like hard ass. And all of a sudden, Randy comes around the corner laughing. He goes, no. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, what happened?
You're gonna get
He goes,
shot.
here's the code. I got locked in there. But I still say to this day, I was by the, where the floor, where all the displays, where all the cars
Right.
were. I'm sitting there going, man, I hear a voice go, you screwed up there, kid. And I was like, yeah, I guess I did.
The marble floor.
So,
Warren,
you still
Warren,
there.
do you remember when the race fans were in the I come into work one morning. It was weird because I was early. So I come into the fab shop. I think I was working at the drag strip. I got moved to like every 5 minutes. You're like, hey, bosses.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So I walk in the fab shop. Nobody else was in there, and like there's these 2 people sitting in the break room. So I walk in. I'm like, hey, what's up? And they're eating remember the Cheez-Its?
Yeah.
The Cheez Whiz. They're eating Cheez Whiz and shit sitting at the table. They're like, yeah, we're here for an interview, and it was a guy and a girl. Do you remember this, Jeff?
I remember hearing about it.
Yep. So I'm like, okay. So I walk over into Paul Weiss's office, and I called a super trooper down there. What was that?
Bill
guy?
Malcolm.
Bill
Malcolm.
Malcolm.
That's right, Mr. Malcolm.
I called out a little security. I said, "There's some people up here. I don't know if they belong here or not." Boy, they come in there like a goddamn SWAT team.
Oh yeah.
And I'm watching this shit.
Radios.
And they're like a SWAT team. They come running in that fab shop. Well, here come these two people. They jerked them out of there. But apparently, the story I remember is they pulled up. What they said is they pulled up to the Teresa's house, the main gate down, between the 15 and the chicken coop there, between the two shops, and the gate opened.
Oh wow.
Well, so they went down in there and got all jacked around in the middle of the night. I don't know how you got in there. That place was like Fort Knox.
Yeah.
Well, you remember that gate beside
The back gate.
The
the
back
back
gate.
gate? I guess they come back out there. Well, they couldn't get out or something. I don't know. And but the fab shop door was open. I know this because Andy Johnson got his ass railed.
Went Keep it wedged open so you do smoke breaks.
And I'm in there, and here comes Bill Malcolm and that whole group of old geriatric cops. And it was like this big investigation. They're like, "You let those people in?" I'm like, "I didn't know those."
I'm the one that called you.
I was like, I don't even know why I'm here early. I don't know what happened. This is like really rare that the day I show up early, there's like people in. Remember that?
Yes, I remember.
The break room.
For an interview. Eating Cheez-Its.
Eating
Nice.
Cheez-Its.
That was one of the first race shops that really had gates.
Gates,
on
yes.
Campus.
Right. We need it.
Man, he was thinking way ahead of everything. So
I just
far
remember all
ahead.
the fans constantly. Every day there was someone in the gift shop, someone walking through like the little museum area there every day. And when we had the Dale Earnhardt days, the place was just mobbed up.
We
People
even
came
had
out.
assigned parking spots.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
You
used to,
guys
I
did,
used to like to mess with old Bill Malcolm.
Oh,
Because when Andy, when he wasn't there, I'd always come over and park in his parking spot, and Bill would come out there and go, "Your inspection sticker is out, and you're in the wrong spot."
Remember you had the
Them
tag
tags.
in the
Yeah.
window.
Wait a minute.
Car,
I have
yeah.
my
Number on it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was employee 384.
312.
Remember?
52.
52?
143.
Don't remember.
That was like 125 somewhere. in there.
It's amazing we still remember that. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Why did it mean so much to us, and why is it still today? What is it about? Because we still run into each other. We take the time to talk to each other. We reminisce together. What we're doing here now is just, I'm loving it. But why is it we still have that connection to that place?
I think it was the longest run of any teams, old teams or modern teams, that the group stayed together. We stayed together for a long time, and that was unheard of. Everybody, in the day of the the new companies coming and people roll a toolbox to the next shop for $20 more a week. For some reason, that didn't matter to us. We wanted to stay together, and we knew we had a good team, success, and we trusted each other. It was any time of night you needed help or you were good times, bad times, we took care of each other. And it was really like a small brotherhood.
And most people were leaving thinking they were going to go to a better place. We were at the best,
And,
We really
and a
were.
lot of
We
people
were at
would
the best place.
Absolutely.
a lot of people would find out when they left that they made a
Oops.
mistake.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, and to me, when I came down here, I worked at Rick Mass and Jeff Bodines and King Racing, and I was just one of those guys that's like, man, I don't want to be here. I was leaving. I always had another better job,
Right.
and ended up over at DEI, and to be there during that time, I think the most special thing is it was the most dominant restrictor plate program on the planet ever in the history of NASCAR. I don't care what Joe Gibbs does or anybody else. There's never going to be another team, a group of people that were that dominant.
No, and the
Whether
game,
it was a Busch Series or a Cup Series, when those haulers pulled in there, when that gate went down, everybody else knew they were racing for third.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Period.
Like I said, we'd set it for teardown right after getting in the grid. So we
That's cocky.
we knew. The other thing, coming from the Yates family, they were always known for plate racing and their power. And when we were about the second year of that run in the plate cars, when we come to the garage, Robert Yates was laying on the ground trying to figure out what's under the car, and he'd be up on the trailer trying to look down on the car. He was trying to figure out what we had. Yeah. And when you're doing that to some of the best minds in the sport, you knew you had something. You had something special.
DEI, I think, had real racers that at the time mixed really well with the engineering. There was a lot of little infighting and bickering, but at the end of the day, whether it would be the engines, the drivetrain,
Right.
Even with Rex over there and the gear stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we built that gear dyno. I think we were the first ones to build
Absolutely.
a pull-down rig Hell, we had a wind tunnel in the parking lot that we
Just
built.
brake
Just
ducted.
brake
Yeah.
ducted, all right?
Yes, that's right.
You know, I mean, we had a lot of really intense people that were just adamant about being the very best, and not because some computer said this is the
Right.
best. It's because we proved it was the best.
Well, you know, and we were all competitive to each other.
Yeah.
That's why
You
we
know,
voted
and right, you
Yeah.
had so many people there that had so much talent, and it's hard to make them all get along. But we were all there for one reason, and it was to win. You know,
And I
we
think
didn't we didn't care if we had an argument one day. If they came back with a checkered flag, I was congratulating them, or vice versa. You know what I mean? It was all water under the bridge once somebody won or when they had a good run. You
Even
know?
with the RAD program, though, it was a great concept, but we still led all of that. You know,
Yeah.
everybody else
It-
was
we
coming
drove
in,
all
Yeah,
of it.
well,
taking information from us.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that Teresa did that was really smart when she ended that deal, because I think we were leading the way. I was there. I was in it. There was three
Yeah.
of us in
Yeah.
it, and Andy was sucking the life out of it, and Richard was sucking the life
Yeah.
out of it, and DEI was leading you guys and engines and we were leading the way on that deal.
Yeah,
And they were sucking
Right.
sucking all the talent out of it, and they didn't offer anything. I was there.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember going to the wind tunnel with those guys. They brought nothing to the table.
No.
The conception when Dale decided to do that was an amazing conception.
Right.
Yeah.
But after Dale was gone, the leader, it just kind of, we'll just suck the life out of this thing. And Teresa did step up and go, we're done with this. We're going to do our own deal. And I think that after the RAD program, I think that's when the Speedway stuff, when we all did our own deals in-house, like the 15 car did their stuff, the 8 car, and and the 11 and all that stuff. And then everybody kind of talked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody.
What it did was it produced intercompany competitions.
Exactly.
You know, if a car came off my surface plate and it was 15 better than one that came off of Brian's, the 8-car surface
That
plate.
never happened because I
Or-
ran your car's quarter-inch tire.
But they would take my build sheet, they would look at the car, and they would build a better one. The next one that came off their plate was 15 better than mine, or 20, or and it just would keep going like that. We all fed off each other, but we also wanted to beat each other.
And there was also another really good guy involved in that Speedway development, is Bob Bowser.
Yeah.
On the Bush side, when they let Bob handle that stuff over there,
Yeah.
I mean, Bob did a phenomenal job on those Bush
Speedway
cars.
Bob.
Yeah.
Talked earlier, somebody said something about like some of the challenges of some of the infighting, and that's just the nature of a championship group. But it's like brothers, right? You can pick on each other, but anybody outside that
Yeah.
circle, you're gonna beat the hell out of them.
Right.
Anybody mess with our guys, we'd go to any bar or restaurant
Right.
after hours.
Right.
Don't mess with any of our guys. They knew we'd absolutely wipe them
I
out.
remember when Eddie Dickerson walked in the shop, and we had, remember that damn car of Woody, the Andy
Yeah.
got that stupid ass race car. Right, we all hated that car.
Yeah.
We have Woody sitting there. Well, they had some kind of R&D meeting or some crap with NASCAR, and so Eddie Dickerson comes rolling in the fab shop, and back then they had the flip phones, and Eddie's standing there kind of casually taking like pictures of this, Woody was naked, there's Bondo, we had Tim build all them molds for them cheated up nose and all that garbage, and Eddie's standing there like, Steve Mill walks over, snatches his phone out of his hand, sticks it in a bison, crushes it.
Yep.
I was just standing there like, that was kind of big.
Protected our stuff.
So here's a good memory. We'll kind of close it out with this. Christmas parties.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. The Christmas parties are legendary. So much the Christmas party, it was the after.
I was smart enough to avoid that because I was on thin ice all the time anyway.
But at the Christmas party, they always draped off the engine department.
Yes.
And it took me the first year. I go, why is everyone going back there? And then I figured out because there was full-blown bars set up at the back there. I go, oh, okay.
All the build stations
Yeah.
had bars, full liquor
Full
bars.
liquor bars. And
Well, the one year we had the go-go dancers up on the poles.
Yeah.
I'm like, Teresa, man. In cages. I
Yeah.
think, Teresa, man. Girls in cages.
then they had the
Get out
shot-
there.
Yeah, I remember showing up there with my wife, and she's like, "What's going on here?"
What kind of place do you work
And
at?
I don't know, you got any singles? and then I got a backhand, you know.
Then
like
it had
any
the
fun.
shot
That was
luge.
bizarre. That
very
was
bizarre.
That was bizarre. That was a
The one year was
bizarre.
Lodge
And
Chic.
the theme was
And
black.
she said, you're also
They're
about
all
a Lodge
dressed in
Chick.
black.
Was what,
Yeah, and the one year we had the luge, the shot luge, and went through the
Yes.
ice, and
Yeah.
everyone's, oh God. And yeah, we all ended up, but people like would have their suit coats on, and then have flasks in there. As the night went on, you're not hiding it. You're like grabbing your coat, you know, going like, it's obvious as hell. And they had the one night, they had the Hollywood night.
That was even
Yeah,
more
yeah, they had
bizarre.
the fake paparazzi, and Larry Sprinkle was outside interviewing us as we came in. I was like, you really want to talk to these half-drunken idiots before they're coming
I
in?
pulled in there because I knew Teresa was only going to give us 2 beers, but you
Yeah.
had to go to the engine shop,
Yeah.
and I'm already like half in the can. So I pull in, I see all this nonsense. I went around the back. Malcolm met me at the back door. She said, Teresa said you have to go to the front door. I said, there ain't happening. He goes, no, it needs to. I said, I'm already half. I said, okay, come on in.
Not driving around. I can't get there. Can't drive
And then we left there and we go down to 10 o'clock Charlie's. We invade that place. Oh my God,
Yes.
we'd invade that place. I mean, those parties were so legendary. Girls were asking. I mean, you weren't the only
Yeah,
one that got
we-
asked by girls all the time.
There was a young,
There
we had a
oh,
young
yeah.
guy in the fab shop that actually
Yeah.
ended up with a
Yeah,
girl
really.
that
Oh, can I
just
go?
wanted to go to the
Yeah,
party.
Is that
Yeah.
Bobby Brown?
No.
No names. We're not going
And we had the one engineer, I think he brought girls in from like Miami and New York, like they
Yeah.
were just way off the charts. You're like,
Right.
wait a minute, she's not
You're
from
from
around here.
Mooresville.
They're like, this ain't Mooresville talent. And you're like, all right, but she heard about
Yeah.
these parties, read about all the stuff from Dale Jr.'s, Rolling Stone interviews, the Playboy interview.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was all the interviews were going on. It's like, and we just kind of were in the shadows. But when it went time to go out and be around, I mean, the Budweiser get-togethers were just,
And work hard, play hard.
and that was it exactly.
I stayed away from the parties. Like I said, I was already on thin ice
Yeah,
the whole
probably
6,
good.
7 years I was there. It was just,
Perfect.
I knew my limitations. I could hardly control my mouth when I was sober if I left to a party. So I just stayed away.
Hey guys, I want to thank you. This has been awesome. Thanks for coming out and doing this. Great to see everybody together and sharing some laughs and some good memories. So appreciate it. And thanks, Warren, Pub Table Racers, Aaron from the Garage
Aaron,
Shop.
thanks for
Thank you.
hosting.
This has been an epic night. If you guys want to see us do something like this again, let us know in the comments. But this has been Highway 3 Reunion Beyond the Gates. Thank you. Hey everybody, this is Tim Packman for the Garage Shop Insider. We appreciate all your views. We appreciate you being part of it. But we need one little favor. We would like you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's absolutely free. Just click the little subscribe button. That way we can keep up with all the great things we have been doing and all the things we're going to be doing. So that's it. That's all we need you to do. Hit subscribe, become part of the team. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.